peace that surpasses all understanding. Eating bullets, part 3. Talked about that buttload of pain that I experienced on my living room floor. And what I want to touch on is how do you process that pain? We always, you hear these fucking gurus talking, oh, you gotta process your pain. That's all well and good. I agree with that. How the fuck do you do it? How? What do you do to process that pain in the actual physical, tangible world? What kind of prayer and meditation do you engage with practically to process that pain? Smoking again. See, from your point of view, I'm chain smoking because every time I do a video, I got a cigarette blazing. So, yeah, I'm doing all right. How do we process that pain? First, you got to know what the pain is. You got to diagnose it. I got a little bit of experience, medical-ish type background. I spent quite a few years working as I originally got the job in the hospital through what they called environmental services. I was actually recruited from my former job prior to that as a non-licensed, but practicing clinical social worker. In the state of Maine, you did not have to have a license to be a social worker, but the requirement was that you were working on it. You were taking classes. You were going to trainings. You were meeting your what do they call it? Credits. Like you were working toward credits. So as long as you were working toward credits, you could practice clinical social work. Excuse me. So, the hospital, going to my medical-ish background, the hospital, because I had that experience dealing with, and in that setting, I worked in the crisis unit. The crisis unit, so, like suicidal behaviors, suicidal ideation, suicidal actions. People, kids, primarily kids, under 18. What else did I do? Hang tight, you guys. I've been on fire this morning, and my phone is about to die. So hold on 1 second, please, if you would. Hold on. I gotta plug in. Give me just a second here. Come on, Scott. You can do it. There we go. All better now. So I'm going to have to hold the phone because I can't. Help me out, guys. Where was I? Clinical social worker. Non-licensed clinical social worker. Healthcare background. And let me tell you, next time you go to the emergency room because you stubbed your toe, just remember that those doctors and those nurses are just as human as you and I. And I hung out with these people. I went to their Christmas parties at their homes. We hung out outside of work. And There was plenty of that going on. Plenty of drinking, plenty of drugs. Who's got the best drugs, you guys? Fucking doctors and nurses, pharmacists. True story. So, clinical social worker, I get recruited by the hospital to work in the emergency room because essentially during the summer where I live, we go from a population, it's a tourist, very touristy in the summer. Holy shit, dude. So our population goes from, let's just say, I'm just throwing out a number, it goes from 10,000 people in this area to 1 million in a weekend. So you have this massive influx of people coming from all over the place looking to untie a lifetime's worth of knots in 2 fucking weeks on vacation, right? So we got a lot of people. I got recruited to work in the emergency room based on my experience in clinical social work, crisis worker. A lot of these yahoos on vacation having emotional mental breakdowns, drug overdoses, attempted suicide, on and on and on. And so it was nice to have Scott in the emergency room on a... Now we had genuine licensed therapists, clinical social workers who would come down and do an assessment and determine the best course of treatment for somebody who came in with what would be referred to as altered mental status. A nice generic broad sweeping term for whatever they had going on an emotional level, on a spiritual level, you name it. But until that social worker, that licensed social worker, could come and do the assessment, and I don't mean any disrespect, I spent some time myself when I got sober. I spent some time in a mental health care facility. So there's no shame here, guys. Been there, done that. You're safe. Spent some time there. So in the interim, waiting for that person to do the assessment, I would babysit. No disrespect. Where was I going with this? I lost my train of thought. So I'll jump ahead. Just to give you a little background on, like, who's Scott, his life experience. Who knows? Maybe I'll remember what the point I was trying to make. But right now, just, little lessons. You're learning me. How did I heal? How did I recover from all that pain? In a practical way. How did I process that shit? It's going to be a hard one, you guys. This is a hard lesson. This is a hard, challenging, not hard, it's simple, yet easy. Challenging and difficult, yet very straightforward, I want that grand piano in my living room on the 2nd floor. Simple idea, challenging process. Okay? You follow the vibe I'm throwing down again. Now, you're in a whole buttload of pain. Whether it's stuff that happened to you or things that you did that left you feeling shameful, guilty, remorseful, like a piece of shit. Okay? Here comes the word. Forgiveness. Simple idea. Very straightforward. Forgiveness. It's a great word, man. Throw that shit around everywhere. What does it mean? Yeah. Yeah. How do you forgive somebody? How do you forgive self? How do you do that? How? How? How does this work? A lot of prayer and meditation. Those painful experiences, all right? On so many occasions, I talked to therapists, counselors, friends. I engaged in a 12-step program for quite a while. So I spoke to sponsors. I spoke to anybody who would lend me their ear for some exchange, you know. And I never found any healing from those exchanges. I was always seeking outward help. Outward. You can help me, you can help me. That can fix me. A lot of those people, their hearts were in such a beautiful place. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place. And they genuinely wanted to help me. No doubt. No doubt, man. No doubt. And I look back on those experiences with love and appreciation and gratitude. However, a lot of times, the high majority of the responses that I received from people when I would share these painful experiences and I was trying to process, they would say, in some way, shape, or form, let it go. Let it go. Let it go, 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 let it go. Incessantly. Then a friend I had in more recent days, suggested, no, dude. No, dude. Sit with it. Well, everybody else told me to let it go. And you want me to sit with it? What does that mean? Experience it. Feel it. Heal it. Deal with it. Feel, heal, deal. Feel, deal. Feel, heal, deal. Feel, deal, heal. Those are my words, not theirs. Feel it. Sit with it. For kidding me? That shit hurt. It hurt the first time. Why the fuck would I want to feel it again? Therein lies the answer. Love that fucking book, man. Wow, dude. But it's, you know, it's shit I already knew. Just needed that tap on the shoulder to remind me that's who you are, man. That's who you are. It's not all these other reactions. You are not defined by the reactions that you've had to your traumatic experiences, whether projected by you, traumatic experiences imposed on other, or traumatic experiences imposed on you from other. You are not defined by those experiences. They are memories. They're not real. And I'm reminded of a scene in The Shining where Scatman Crothers is talking to Danny, and he's telling him about these spirits, how these spirits linger like the smell of burnt toast. The toast is not burning in that moment, but you can still smell it. There's a lingering, there's a memory of those experiences. And those memories conjure the experience right back into your field, and you relive them and relive them and relive them until you process them. Open a window, air the house out. The house, follow the vibe. I love you guys. So I sat with it. And dude, Chica, dudes and chicas, all my wonderfully divine masculine friends, all my beautiful, glorious, divine feminine friends. I love you both equally. So in that respect, I suppose I am bisexual in that respect. On a spiritual level, I love my brothers and sisters equally, with all my heart. Hey, you just came out of the closet. Well, yeah, I guess so, didn't I? On a spiritual level, I love men and women equally on a spiritual level. Wow, humor is such an awesome thing. Humor, water, what else? What else we got? Beautiful things. So I sat with that pain, and I sat with that pain, and I sat with that pain. It brought up all those fucking painful memories. Remember the floor, guys? That's the floor, right there, right next to the couch. Snot, tears, boogies, drool. You know, I'll be honest with you, straight up, I didn't mention this in the other one. I fucking pissed myself. Straight up, man. I was in such a way on that floor that I was crying, snotting, drooling, pissing. My body was releasing. What's the common element here? Water. Water. What is tears? What is snot? What is drool? What is urine? Think about it. My body was releasing. Water holds all memory. Do your homework. It's so fucking cool, man. And the lesson, herein lies the lesson. How do we forgive? Through that process of pain, bang, sitting with it, embracing it, embracing yourself, embracing the pain as one would as a parent to a child. Embrace the pain. Your child, you know, parents, let's use this as a real quick example. Your son, your daughter, your niece, your nephew, your spouse. But let's stick with the child, the adult and child image. Mom and son, father and daughter, mother and son, whatever their dynamic is. Your child breaks their arm. They experience a trauma. What are you going to do? You're going to take them to the hospital. Little medical analogy here. Little medical parable for your consideration. Your child breaks their arm, you take them to the hospital. Now, I've seen plenty of people, even with fucking pain meds on board, I've seen plenty of people have bones reset by a doctor. Let me tell you, that process, even with pain meds on board, even with nurturing and holding hands, hand on a shoulder, wiping the sweat from the brow, it's fucking painful. Resetting a bone is no joke. Laying on a floor in a fetal position, purging the memory through water out, healing is no joke. Fucking hurts, man. Fucking hurts. But in that moment, in those moments, I received clarity. The clarity was forgiving those offenses, forgiving the self for projecting, forgiving the other for projecting upon me. So here goes, guys. I'm going to tell you the story. My former wife, who for this, I'm not going to name her by name. I will just refer to her as my former wife, was the one who filed those atrocious charges against me regarding my stepdaughters. My former wife was the, when she was younger, was the projected upon victim of the very things that I was being accused of in regards to my stepdaughters, were the very things that she, my former wife, the very things that she experienced in her traumas as a child, as a young woman, as a teenager. And that incident coincided. We were in the process of divorce, separation. We attempted reconciliation, but she was in her, and until I find another word, she was in her pain body. So she was projecting all of that experience, all of that trauma into my field. Okay? Is this making sense? I hope so. And it threw everybody's life into turmoil. Now, interestingly enough, the very person who traumatized her, she was engaged as we were divorcing and attempting to reconcile. She was reuniting on an intimate level with the very same person who victimized her, who traumatized her, and she was having an intimate relationship with this man. At the very same time, she's projecting her pain body into my field and turning the world upside down for who knows how many people. Myself, my stepdaughters, their father, their biological father, grandparents, parents, friends, everybody, all the people that were affected by that. So with that being said, forgiveness. Forgiveness. With all my heart, Carol, I forgive and I release you. And I hold you in safety, in love, in healing, in joy, in pain. Eye contact, hand on the shoulder. I understand. I understand why you did what you did. And I love you. I love you. I love you more today than I ever could have when we were married. True story. True story. Take the fucking glasses off, Scott. And as I dishonored myself, there was one particular incident. I have 5 minutes left, so I'm going to wrap it up. There was one particular incident that I'm not proud of. It was stupid. Man, I was, we make bad choices. When we're in that fear and pain body, we make fucked up choices. And during that period, when Carol and I were separated, Carol, if you're watching this, I love you. Truly, I do. And I'm sorry. I am sorry. I am sorrowful for my actions. I did not know what I was doing. And I think you already know where I'm going with this one. You know what I'm talking about. During the period where Carol and I had separated, I had always had female friends. Always. From a very young age, even to now, this very present moment, I have some wonderful, glorious, beautiful, divine female friends. And they have taught me so much about what it means to be a man. I didn't learn much about being a man from my father. I learned it from women. My dad was a cool dude. He's a great guy. But the truly valuable lessons that I learned about what kind of man I wanted to be have come from women. So namaste. I'm holding the phone with the other hand. Namaste, ladies. Thank you. I am grateful. But in that period of separation and divorce and living in the pain body, we were both. She was living in her pain body. I was living in mine. And I had always had contact with these female friends. But there was one particular occasion where I got into a conversation with one of them. And if any of you have seen the movie Shaun of the Dead, there's a vulgar, his best friend Sean, his best friend Ed makes a comment. They're busting his balls about not taking messages on the phone, and she and I, this female friend of mine, were texting, and they were busting Ed's balls in the movie about not taking, you only take down your phone messages, you never take down our phone messages. So there's a joke in the movie about, okay, well, Ed finally took messages for everybody else. And he makes a joke about, yeah, your mom said to call and come around, and Liz called about going to eat out, and then your mom called me back about coming around to eat her out. Vulgar, funny, from a movie. And I had this exchange with this female friend based on that conversation, based on that movie. My former wife, Carol, in her pain body, spied on my phone and saw that message. And it created a lot of pain. It triggered her something fierce. And Carol, I know, I get it. I was in my pain body, you were in yours. It wasn't the right thing to do. I used poor judgment. I was afraid. However, looking back on that experience, and I'm sure if you're watching this and you heard this, you know that experience. We were at my sister's house in Kennebunkport. Remember? And it was a very painful experience for both of us. And I remember you walking out, and I didn't go after you. I was like, you already believed. You already made the decision about what you believe. Forgiveness, you guys. Understanding, patience, tolerance, practicalities of what it means to heal. I love you very much. I love you very much. Carol, I love you. I forgive you. Please forgive me and heal. Holding you all in safety, holding you all in comfort and warmth, every good thing, through your joy, through your pain, warm hand on the shoulder, reassurance and fortification. Have a great day, guys. I love you. Take care.